people are sick.
These people are shit.
These 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 people are sick.
And what we have done is the reason why most of the world is repaired to us is because of who we are as a nation. We, the people, we hold these truths, etc. Sounds corny, but it's real. You know the thing.
These people are sick.
Well, right now, the United States is by far the world's top funder of the World Health Organization. We give the organization about $58 million every year. That's double what any other country donates for some reason. But for the organization's leaders, there's only one country that matters, and it's not us. It's China. Right now, Taiwan is battling coronavirus, but they are denied membership in the World Health Organization. They can't even have observer status. Why is that? People are dying, but the World Health Organization refuses to protect them. Why do you think that is? Because China objects to anyone acknowledging that Taiwan is a nation. From the beginning, World Health Organization officials have praised China's response to coronavirus. They've repeated the country's lies as facts to the rest of the world. Initially, China claimed that the coronavirus could not be transmitted from person to person, even though doctors in Wuhan knew otherwise, and it was obviously untrue. The World Health Organization, though, told that lie to the world, and that hindered global preparation to contain the virus. They made it worse, not better. And then the World Health Organization praised China for its transparency, a cruel joke. As those lies have been exposed, the World Health Organization's subservience to their masters in Beijing has only become more obvious, more naked. On Saturday, a Hong Kong television station aired an interview with the World Health Organization Assistant Director called Bruce Aylward. He's a Canadian. We want to show you this whole thing. We hope you'll watch carefully because it tells you everything about where this world is going and why you should be really nervous about the government of China. Watch this.
Would the WHO consider Taiwan's membership? Hello?
I couldn't hear your question.
Okay, yeah, let me repeat the question.
No, that's okay. Let's move to another one then.
Right, because I'm actually curious on talking about Taiwan as well, on Taiwan's case.
We decided to give Dr. Aylward another call to follow up.
And I just want to see if you can comment a bit on how Taiwan has done so far in terms of containing the virus.
Well, we've already talked about China, and when you look across all the different areas of China, they've actually all done quite a good job. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for inviting us to participate, and good luck as you go forward with the battle in Hong Kong.
These people are sick.
In the middle of a global pandemic, they're refusing to help a country because China told them not to. And then the World Health Organization, which represents all of us, which we pay for more than any other country, is boldly, without shame, repeating Chinese government propaganda. The man you just saw, Bruce Aylward, by the way, wasn't just caught in a bad moment over Skype. Here's another clip of him sucking up to the government of China.
To the people of Wuhan, it is recognized that the world's in your debt, and when this disease finishes, hopefully we'll have a chance to thank the people of Wuhan for the role that they played in it.
It's beyond disgusting. It's scary. Gordon Chang is the author of The Coming Collapse of China, and he joins us tonight. Gordon, you've been on this topic for such a long time. Does it surprise you that the World Health Organization, which normal people, me, look at and think, you know, they're keeping the world safe from pandemics, that they're actually acting as a spokesman for the government of China? Does that surprise you?
Well, this has been going on for some time, Tucker, and there have been a number of other things that we've got to be concerned about. So it's not just Bruce Aylward, who, by the way, said that he had absolutely no reason to question China's numbers. It's also Dr. Tedros, who's the Director General, in other words, the #1 guy. In late January, Tedros gave an interview to China state media saying that Beijing's response was admirable, should be emulated by the rest of the world, and then he said, it all showed the superiority of China's socialist system. Well, China has a totalitarian system, and really what he was doing was attacking democracy on behalf of Beijing. So this is really despicable across the board.
I mean, this really matters. This isn't like NBA players kowtowing to the Chinese government. We're in the middle of a pandemic. This is the World Health Organization. Why is nobody... Where is Bill Gates, who's the single largest individual funder? Why isn't he saying anything? Why isn't Google saying anything? Why aren't our leaders saying anything about this?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is dangerous because for the last 10 days of January and for the first 10, 15 days of February, the World Health Organization was parroting Beijing's line that no country should enact travel restrictions on China. And that's because there were no travel restrictions, or very few of them, the United States being an exception. What happened was this virus spread even farther around China's borders. So what the W.H.O has done was it actually helped spread the coronavirus around the world, and it did it on behalf of Beijing.
It's just beyond belief. It's hard to believe those words are true, but they are true. Gordon Chang, thank you for that.
Thank you, Tom.
Where is Bill Gates, who's the single largest individual funder? Why? As this deadly virus emerged from eastern China and began to spread inexorably across the globe, clearly headed here, leaders in New York not only failed to shield their citizens from it, they took affirmative and aggressive steps to increase the risk to their population. Why would they do that? Well, because they were worried far more about being called racist than protecting human lives. That's not an overstatement. That's not hyperbole. Watch the city's health commissioner, Cyrus Barbitt, urge New Yorkers to spend as much time as possible in crowded public places. Keep in mind, this video was from February 2nd of this year. That was long after the threat from the Chinese coronavirus was obvious to anyone who was paying attention.
The risk to New Yorkers for coronavirus is low, and that our preparedness as a city is very high. There is no reason not to take the subway, not to take the bus, not to go out to your favorite restaurant, and certainly not to miss the parade next Sunday. I'm going to be there. How dare you?
Shame on you.
Take the subway, go to dinner, people cheer. They feel good about themselves. Future generations, though, are going to watch that video with their jaws open in disbelief. How could someone charged with protecting public health so recklessly endanger it? They'll watch this performance from State Senator John Liu, too. Liu suggested that people who might be concerned in any way about contracting a deadly disease, or who might be interested in where it came from, must be, and you guessed it, bigots.
But there's really no need to panic and to avoid activities that we always do as New Yorkers. We are a hardy people. As an Asian American, I've been somewhat disturbed, if not outright appalled, at some of the comments or gestures that I have seen. Diseases originate from anywhere or from particular places in the world.
We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts.
In other words, as a member of a protected interest group, I'm ordering you to ignore this threat to your family on moral grounds. Go to the parade or else. That's what Liu was saying. Let's hope that in the wake of this disaster, after John Liu has lost his job and we can all think clearly again, people will stop talking this way in public for good. It was always the most brutal form of social control, masquerading as sensitivity and caring. Now we know it was infecting the public with disease. But at the time, sentiments like this were universal among big city public officials. State Senator Brian Kavanaugh, for example, decided to embark on a crusade against what he called misinformation, a euphemism, as it so often is, for accurate information. Kavanaugh encouraged people to head to Chinatown for a festival.
It's very important that we recognize that this holiday and this festival is of tremendous significance for many communities in our state, and it is very important that we ensure that we don't have misinformation. And many in the media have been covering this issue as if it's, a terrible plague that people have to avoid.
These people are sick.
If you don't go to a crowded public place immediately, you're a racist. Look at those people telling you that, demanding that you do that, hectoring you, badgering you, exerting moral blackmail on you to expose yourself. By early March, coronavirus was clearly becoming a major problem in the United States, but for elected officials in New York, the only problem was their constituents' racist worries about staying alive. On March 2nd, this March 2nd, Mayor Bill de Blasio tweeted this, quote, "Since I'm encouraging New Yorkers to go on with your lives, plus get out on the town despite coronavirus, I thought I would offer some suggestions. Here's the first. Through Thursday, go see The Traitor. If The Wire was a true story plus set in Italy, it would be this film." That's right. Go to a movie theater immediately. You must. A week later, de Blasio was still encouraging New Yorkers to live it up and mingle in large groups. On March 11th, which keep in mind was barely 2 weeks ago, de Blasio was still insisting that, quote, "If you're not sick, you should be going about your life." That very same day, the NBA announced it was suspending its whole season. Italy was already several days into a national lockdown. But the mayor of one of the world's most crowded cities was telling everyone to carry on as though the Chinese coronavirus was just a racist myth. Soon after that, people in New York inevitably started to get sick, in some cases very sick, in some cases they died. And then suddenly de Blasio was on Meet the Press shrieking that Donald Trump had abandoned the city. It was their fault, all their fault. That line almost always works, which is why de Blasio did it. The media play along and move on to the next thing, and no one remembers what actually happened. Will that happen this time? Maybe not. This time might be different. This pandemic is too horrible. Too many people are getting hurt. Nobody really liked identity politics anyway. All it did was help mediocrities like Bill de Blasio get elected to office. But it was disgusting and cruel and divisive. And now we know it can get people killed. Maybe we can stop.
Fool me once. Shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.